What's the difference between flowers and anal? Flowers make your day. Anal makes your whole week. I mean, anal makes your whole week. What's up, weirdos? Scott here. Thanks again for visiting the channel. As always, I appreciate it. If this is your first time to the channel, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the content. That's a pretty bad joke, guys. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. If you'd like to send a knife or knives into the channel for review, please just send me an email at letsdiu79@gmail.com. Go ahead and send me an email. I'll send you my shipping address. You can send me the knife or knives. I'll spend a week or two with them and do the review and send them back. Also, do me a favor and follow me on Instagram. Let's_do it up. LETS_DOITUP. And today, I'm doing a quick mod on my HINDERER XM-24. So I figured I'd do that on screen. If I fuck it up too much and it takes me like a half an hour, I just won't post the video. But let's do it up, y'all. I'm also going to talk to you guys a little bit about HINDERER knives while I do this. Now, I just want to point out before I get started, I just got these scales in from River's Edge Cutlery and the, what do you call it? The hardware pack from River's Edge Cutlery. If you do order this particular scale, the natural canvas smooth micarta scale, this is not what it's going to look like when you receive it. I like to put oil on my micarta. I think regular micarta that you just get from a retailer or something like that, I always feel like it doesn't. I always feel like it looks like dry and crusty, and I don't know. It looks fine, but I prefer that it looks this way. So I always put oil on my micarta scales and stuff like that. I don't think it makes any difference with protecting the scale or what's the other I can't think of the word, but it doesn't do anything to keep up the scale or anything like that. It doesn't preserve it or anything like that. But I just like the way that it looks better with oil. If you do choose to oil your micarta scales or anything like that, keep in mind that the micarta will continue to suck up the oil. I only use 2 drops. Normally, I ended up having to use 3 drops on this guy just because of all the nooks and crannies that you have to get into. So I spread the oil around, got it all saturated, and then probably in about a week, that's all going to get sucked up into the micarta, and it'll look the same again. But eventually, if you keep oiling your micarta, it will suck up all the oil. Keep doing that, and eventually it'll stop sucking up the oil because it's full of oil, and it'll just continue to look like this. So if you put oil on your micarta and it gets back to looking crusty again, that's why. So as you can see, I've already gotten this started. I didn't want it to take too terribly long to do this, but as you guys know, most of you guys should already know who Rick Hinderer is. He owns Rick Hinderer Knives in Shreve, Ohio. He started out as an EMT, and then started working as, I'm just going to take the pivot out here. I am going to leave the back end of the pivot in just because you don't get the back part of the pivot to put into the knife when you buy the hardware set, so I don't need to replace the back part, so I'm just going to leave that there. I do already have these screws started as well, so I'll get these guys out of here. So Rick Hinderer started off in the mid to late 1980s making art knives, stuff that he would kind of do on his own. He would do all of his work in I believe it was a turkey coop that didn't have any heat or running water or anything like that. But over the years, he got more interested in tactical knives and decided that he wanted to start making tactical knives. So he started with a few models in his shop, and then he kind of branched out from there, expanded his shop, got extra equipment, got extra materials, stuff like that. And now he is running his own shop. He does production knives. I don't know that he does custom knives. I'm fairly certain that he does, but I don't know that for sure. But he is probably one of the most popular makers in the knife community today. They always say the holy trinity of knife making. You've got Strider knives, Chris Reeve knives, and Hinderer knives. Very high quality, very expensive, very hard to get. Most of his production knives, when they drop, sell out almost immediately. I was only able to get this guy because I saw one day that they were going to be dropping some more, and I saw the post on Instagram, and I just happened to be able to get to the site before they sold out. Normally these things will sell out in not even minutes. They'll sell out in seconds. Like as soon as they drop, they will be sold out, which is really, really frustrating. But it's it's not impossible to get them. It's gotten much, much easier over the last year and a half to get these knives. That is for sure. Now, when Rick Hinderer started making his production knives, he came up with a bunch of different models. I'm fairly certain the most popular models for his knives are the XM-18 and the XM-24. But he also has other knives such as the Maximus. Whoops. It's just one of the pegs from the center. I can get those out. And what are the other ones here? We've also got the XM Slippy, which is kind of the same thing as an XM-18, only it's a slip joint instead of a frame lock. All right, got that out of there. Let me just take this. I just want to try to keep this pivot in here so I don't have to mess with the blade too much today. All right, got that guy off of there. That was obviously the factory scale that came with the knife. And here is the titanium liner. Get that off of there. Good, the bearings are still in place, so that's awesome. Throw all this stuff over here. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this back down. There we go. So there's your half disassembled Hinderer XM-24. Now, the reason I got these started before I started the video was just because when you're disassembling a knife, it's not rocket surgery. There's screws holding it in place. You got to take the screws out to get it apart. But let's go ahead and throw on these bronze anodized. Actually, I'm going to put the pegs in first. That'll make it a little bit easier to get those on there. See if I can do this without dropping the blade. Okay. So we've got this here. Throw that guy into there. Please tell me these are the right size. There we go. Okay. Now, there has been some controversy surrounding Rick Hinderer lately. About a year ago, he ended up in an argument with another person in the knife community. I can't remember the name of his channel, but Transparent Knives. He had said something about Rick Hinderer's heat treat, so he did a cease and desist order, telling him that he's not allowed to talk about Hinderer knives anymore. I don't really know that much about the whole situation. I know basically as much as everyone else in the knife community knows, so I'm not really going to speak on that today. But I will say that his most recent model that just came out, the Hinderer Knives Project X, is very exciting, and I've been very excited about that knife ever since it came out. I haven't been able to get a hold of it yet, but my luck may or may not be changing, so take that as you may. So the Project X was, I believe, lost the damn blade. No big deal. The washer's still in there. Let me see if the nope, I lost the bearings too. Okay, there we go. I was hoping I could do this without losing the blade, but no such luck. Sometimes it can be a gigantic pain in the ass doing this, keeping all these things together, trying not to lose specific parts of it. Okay, almost there. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm going to put this down so that I don't lose anything else. Okay, almost there. Sorry, guys. So anyway, Project X was the most recent knife that Rick Hinderer came out with. I'm very excited about that one. I have one on the way to the house right now, as a matter of fact. So I can't wait to get that guy in hand and mess around with it and play with it and have fun with it. Super excited about that. Okay, so let's put this guy back on here, like so. Sorry guys, we're almost there. And we're going to put the new scale on. There we go. And I will go ahead and I'm going to hand tighten the pivot just because I don't want to mess around with it too much right now. But I will, get that squared away in just a few minutes here. First, I'm going to mess with those barrel spacers so that I don't lose those. But I am going to get this turned in as much as I possibly... Well, I'll just put these in first. We'll do it that way. Okay. Anyway, as you guys know, Rick Hinderer knives are very, very expensive. The XM models are probably I think they're their flagship models, but I could be wrong. But the XM-18, the 3-inch, I believe is a little bit less expensive. But the XM-18 3.5-inch, that guy is going to run you around $425. Let me just get these tightened down here so I don't lose them. And the XM-24 is going to end up running you around $600. Now these are just for, you know, base production models. It has nothing to do with, you know, if they do modifications or they're selling a special kind of knife or something like that. They'll obviously be a little more expensive, but I'm having some trouble with these screws here. Sorry guys. Just move this down a little bit. There we go. And get this guy started so that I can screw it into place. Sorry if I'm going off the camera, guys. I apologize. But this is actually going pretty quick. It's going quicker than I expected it to. I'm just going to screw this on here. I'm just being really careful not to scratch up these screws here, just because they're just anodized. So if you scratch them, they will that anodization will come off for sure, definitely. Okay, that's good. All right, so we got to put this one back in now. I think that other one is still in there, but just in case. Okay. Now, when I started in the knife community, I was really interested in Hinderers, obviously, because I used to watch. I watch Metal Complex a lot, and he's big on Hinderers, as you guys know. So I've always wanted a Hinderer in my collection. I was lucky enough to get the XM-18 about 1.5 years ago, and then this XM-24 I was able to pick up, I think, about 4 months ago, something, maybe 3 months ago. It wasn't that long ago, but these things are definitely difficult to get a hold of, unless you have like an inside person or something like that. All right, one more screw to go, and then we are just about all set here, guys. Almost there. So anyway, as I said, Rick Hinderer ended up expanding his operation, and now he works at his ranch in Ohio, and that's where they do all the production of these knives. Now they also have the Eclipse model. They also have the Jurassic model. The Jurassic model is not in production right now. They also had a couple of other knives, the Full Track and the Half Track. The Half Track is still in production, but the Full Track was discontinued for quite some time. But they actually just brought that guy back. Just want to be careful I don't over tighten that. Okay, so you can see that those bronze anodized screws look much, much better, in my opinion. This just gives a little pop of color to the knife, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and put this guy back down. I screwed it down as tight as I could. See if I can get it a little bit more now that it's tighter on the other screws there. No, I can't turn that. All right, so I just put this guy here, and then once I get into the slot on the screw, I can just turn that guy all the way in. Sorry, guys. Almost there. Hold on. One more second. Just got to figure out where the thingy is here and get into that groove. There we go. Almost there. Just careful you don't tighten it too much. You don't want to. Oops. Of course, I got the claw stuck in there. I'm so stupid. There we go. Perfect. Okay, one more time. We're almost screwed down. Then we'll be able to take a look at it and see how good the new natural micarta scale looks on this guy. I don't want to scratch the anodization on this hardware, so I'm just being extra careful. Sorry, guys. And like I said, you want to make sure you don't over torque this, just because that'll make the blade more difficult to deploy and disengage. Okay, make sure that's centered up again. Yeah, that's pretty well centered, I'd say. Okay, let's see if this still works. Yep, works great. See how it disengages. Still drop shutty. That's a heavy blade, so that's definitely going to be drop shut. But I'll go ahead and show you this guy real quick. And then I'm just going to throw in the lock bar stabilizer, and then we're done. I think that bronze looks absolutely amazing. I like that a lot. And I think it goes really, really well with this natural micarta scale. There's the opposite side. I am going to see if I can get these... I'm going to see if I can get the nut for the pivot screw, the filler tab, and the pocket clip anodized bronze as well, just to give it a little bit more of a pop of color. But right now, I think this looks gorgeous. The reason I got the bronze was because since they sent the... since I bought the Coyote version, this was the only version that was left, was this color when I bought this knife. So they've got some little anodization here in the jimping on the spine of the blade, and they've also got some bronze anodization here on the finger guard. So that's why I ended up getting the bronze hardware, and again, I really like the way this looks with just the natural micarta scale on it. I really, really do. I think this looks fantastic. Okay, let me get... see if this is... I'm guessing this is a T6. Yeah, that's a T6. All right. Oh, shoot. I forgot to bring my screws with me. Maybe I still have a T6 in here. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry. Yes. Okay. So there's the T6. Let me just take out the... what do you call it? The over travel stop. Or what else do they call that? No, that's just what I'm going to call it, T6. And maybe that's a T8. Oh no, that's a hex as well. Jesus. Oh boy. It's got to be a same size, or... sorry guys, I'm off the camera. I didn't mean to do that. I think this is a little bit smaller. And so this is a 2mm hex head, and this is the one that you'll be using for the regular handle screws. And for the... well, first of all, I'm unscrewing the wrong thing because I'm an idiot. Let me see if I have a Phillips head somewhere here. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry. I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, I completely forgot that you also need a Phillips head screw to take out the pocket clip. One of the biggest complaints that people have about Hinderer knives is that there's so many different fasteners on it. There's the hex fasteners, there's the flathead, there's the Phillips heads, and then there's also another hex here for the steel lock bar insert. In order to get the over travel stop off, you have to take off the pocket clip, which isn't the end of the world. I just forgot about that. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this is still a... so let's see if the smallest one... I think this is a 1.5mm. Yeah, that's a 1.5mm. Okay. If I can get this on here. So yeah, I think I'm going to be a big fan of Hinderer knives for quite some time. I'm sure I'm always going to keep collecting them. I have 3 currently, and as I said, I have 1 more on the way. So I'm very excited about that. Can't wait. I don't know if this is actually working or not. Let me see if maybe a T7 will do the trick. Sometimes these things can be tricky and give you a pain in the butt. Okay, there we go. Got it. Okay, let's get that guy out of there. Put the new one on. And the new screw. Sometimes if you can't get a hex to fit right, sometimes a Torx bit of a slightly larger size will help. So I think that old one was stripped. I think that was the issue there. Yeah, that was just stripped, that's all. Okay. So there's you got a little bit of bronze right here, you've got a little bit of bronze right here, and you've got all these bronze handle nuts here. Let's put the pocket clip back on. I think we're successful here, guys. I was actually nervous about doing a mod on camera just because, you know, sometimes when you're doing things don't work out exactly the way they're supposed to, and it just doesn't go right. But this time it went great, I think, in my humble opinion. One more screw and we are done. There we go. There is my completely modded HINDERER XM-24 with a brand new scale and brand new hardware. Bazinga. This is one of my favorite knives in my collection, guys. I love bigger knives. You know that. Everybody on my channel knows that because I say it all the time. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video today, guys. Sorry I had to leave the room for a second. But if you did enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And stay up, weirdos. Take it easy. Bye.